At 6:45 a.m. on December 17, 1939, Simo Häyhä pressed his cheek against frozen wood. The Mosin-Nagant M28 had no scope, just iron sights. Temperature, minus 40 degrees Celsius. 32 years old. Dairy farmer. 150 confirmed kills in 3 weeks. 0 days of formal sniper training. The Red Army had 450,000 troops invading Finland. Häyhä was positioned 400 meters from Soviet lines near Kola. He'd been lying in snow for 4 hours. No movement, no fire to warm himself. Just white camouflage and a rifle that most professional snipers would refuse to use. Through the sights, he watched Soviet soldiers setting up a mortar position. 6 men, officers, shouting orders. They thought they were safe this far behind the line. They were wrong. The Finnish 6th Division had 12,000 men defending against 3 Soviet divisions, 36,000 enemy troops. The Finns were outnumbered 3-1, outgunned worse. The Soviets had tanks, artillery, air support. The Finns had snow, forests, and men like Häyhä. He'd grown up hunting in these woods. Northern Finland. Started shooting at age 7. Moose, elk, foxes. His father taught him to shoot iron sights only. Scopes, fog and winter. Glass reflects sunlight. Gives away your position. Irons to the Kola front. 80 kilometers of forest. The Soviets needed to break through to reach the interior. The Finns had to stop them with almost nothing. The terrain favored defenders. Dense forest, deep snow. The Soviets advanced in columns along roads. Easy targets. But they had numbers. Endless reinforcements. For every Soviet soldier killed, 2 more appeared. Häyhä received his orders on December 1st. Sniper duty. His commanding officer had noticed his marksmanship scores, elite level, asked if he could shoot moving targets in winter conditions. Häyhä said yes. That was the entire briefing. No spotter, no special equipment, just his personal Mosin-Nagant M28, the rifle he'd used for hunting. He knew every scratch on the stock, knew exactly how it fired. The military offered him a scoped rifle. He refused. Iron sights only. His reasoning was tactical. Scopes add height. You have to raise your head higher to aim. Exposes more of your silhouette. Scopes fog in extreme cold. Häyhä had hunted at minus 40 degrees Celsius, knew what happened to glass, and scopes reflect. 1 glint of sunlight reveals your position. Soviet counter-snipers were watching for reflections. He developed his method in the first week. Arrive at position before dawn. Dig a shallow hide in snow. Pack snow in front to create a shooting rest. Pour water on the snow to freeze it solid. Natural camouflage, no artificial materials. Before shooting, he'd pack his mouth with snow. Body heat creates breath vapor. In minus 40 degrees Celsius temperatures, breath looks like smoke. 1 exhale after a shot and Soviet spotters would see it. Snow in the mouth prevented that. Painful. Effective. If you want to see how many Soviets this farmer killed with iron sights in 100 days, hit that like button right now and subscribe, because what happens next is absolutely insane. Back to December 17th. Häyhä watched the Soviet mortar team through iron sights. 6 men. The officer was gesturing, setting up aiming stakes. The crew was assembling the mortar tube. Range, 400 meters. Wind, 15 kilometers per hour from the east. He'd learned to judge wind by watching snow blow across the ground. No instruments, no calculations, just experience from 25 years of hunting. He adjusted his aim. The Mosin-Nagant M28 fired 7.62 by 53mm rounds. Muzzle velocity, 800 meters per second. At 400 meters, the bullet would drop approximately 180 centimeters. He aimed high. First shot, 6:47 a.m. The officer dropped. The other 5 men froze, confused. They didn't know where the shot came from. Häyhä's position was 400 meters away, hidden in snow. No muzzle flash visible. The sound echoed through the forest from multiple directions. Second shot, 6:48 a.m. The soldier reaching for the radio fell. Now the others panicked, started running. Wrong decision. Third shot, 6:48 a.m. Another down. The remaining 3 scattered, ran in different directions. Fourth shot, 6:49 a.m. Fifth shot, 6:50 a.m. 6 Soviet soldiers. 5 minutes. Häyhä reloaded. The 6th man had reached cover, survived. The Finnish Army's official policy was to confirm every kill. Required visual confirmation or witness testimony. Häyhä's company commander, Lieutenant Arne Jutelainen, kept detailed records. Witnessed most of Häyhä's kills personally. By December 20th, Häyhä had 167 confirmed kills. 3 weeks into the war. The number was unprecedented. Soviet command noticed. Radio intercepts mentioned a Finnish sniper operating near Kola, described him as White Death. The name stuck. Stalin's generals had a problem. Soviet casualties at Kola were catastrophic. The 9th and 14th Soviet armies had lost 7,000 men in 1 month, many from sniper fire. Morale was collapsing. Soldiers refused to advance in certain sectors. Too many died without seeing the enemy. The Red Army deployed counter-sniper teams, experienced marksmen with Mosin-Nagant rifles and PE scopes. Their job, find Häyhä, kill him, restore Soviet momentum. They failed. Häyhä's discipline was absolute. He never shot from the same position twice, never established a pattern. Sometimes he'd wait 8 hours for a single shot. Sometimes he'd take 10 shots in 20 minutes, then disappear. He understood something the Soviets didn't. The forest was his home. He'd hunted here since childhood. Knew every hill, every frozen stream, every approach route. The Soviets were invading foreign terrain in hostile winter conditions. They were at every disadvantage. On January 7, 1940, the Soviets launched a major offensive at Kola. 50,000 troops, artillery barrage, tank support. They had to break through. The entire front depended on it. The Finnish 6th Division had 8,000 men left, exhausted, low on ammunition, outnumbered 6-1. Colonel Heiskanen ordered every available sniper to forward positions. Slow the Soviet advance. Buy time. Häyhä took position at 5:30 a.m. The Soviets attacked at 6 a.m. Waves of infantry, moving in formation. Officers in the rear shouting orders. He started shooting at 6:02 a.m., methodical. 1 shot every 30 seconds. Aimed for officers first. Soviet doctrine depended on command structure. Kill the officers. The enlisted men lose direction. By 9 a.m., he'd fired 40 rounds. Killed 37 men. The Soviet advance in his sector had stalled. Soldiers were diving for cover, refusing to move forward. The company political officer tried to rally them. Häyhä shot him at 350 meters. The advance stopped completely. Soviet counter-battery fire began at 9:15 a.m. Artillery targeting suspected sniper positions. They didn't know exactly where Häyhä was. Just grid coordinates, firing blindly hoping to hit him. Shells fell 200 meters away, then 150 meters, then 100 meters. Häyhä stayed in position. Moving would expose him. The artillery walked closer, 50 meters, 25 meters. At 9:47 a.m., a 122mm shell hit 15 meters from his hide. The concussion threw snow over him. Shrapnel cut into trees above. He stayed motionless, didn't move, didn't run. The artillery stopped at 10 a.m. Häyhä waited 30 minutes, let the Soviets think they'd killed him, then resumed shooting. Another 8 kills before noon. Lieutenant Judalainen recorded it all. 45 confirmed kills on January 7th. Single day, iron sights, minus 40 degrees Celsius, under artillery fire. Soviet intelligence increased the priority. They wanted White Death dead. Deployed more counter-sniper teams. Offered rewards. One Soviet commander allegedly put a bounty, 10,000 rubles for Häyhä's death. By mid-January, Häyhä had 250 confirmed kills. The number seemed impossible. Soviet propaganda claimed it was Finnish lies. Exaggeration. No single sniper could kill that many in 6 weeks. But the casualties were real. Soviet after-action reports from the Kola sector documented massive losses. Entire companies refusing to advance. Morale crisis. Officers being killed by invisible attackers. The Red Army tried new tactics. Night attacks, fog cover, smoke screens. Nothing worked. Häyhä adapted. Learned to shoot in limited visibility. Used sound, used movement. Sometimes he could see only silhouettes. That was enough. On February 6, 1940, Soviet artillery launched the heaviest bombardment yet. 2 hours continuous fire. Every suspected Finnish position. Then infantry assault. 15,000 men attacking on a 2-kilometer front. The Finnish lines bent. Units fell back. The Soviets advanced 800 meters. Then Häyhä and 3 other Finnish snipers opened fire from flanking positions. They'd repositioned during the bombardment. Let the Soviets advance into a kill zone. 4 snipers, 400 meters range. Crossfire. The Soviet advance became a massacre. Officers dropped, sergeants fell, radio operators were killed. Within 20 minutes, the assault lost all coordination. Finnish infantry counterattacked, pushed the Soviets back, reclaimed the lost ground. The counter-snipers had broken the momentum. Häyhä personally killed 27 Soviets that day, confirmed by multiple witnesses. By late February, Häyhä's confirmed count was approaching 500. The number was controversial even among Finns. Some officers thought it was exaggerated. How could one man kill 500 in 90 days? Lieutenant Utalainen defended the count. Every kill was witnessed, every number verified. He'd been there for most of them, watched through binoculars, counted the bodies. Soviet command made one final attempt. They couldn't capture Häyhä, couldn't stop him, so they'd kill him with overwhelming firepower, artillery, airstrikes, destroy entire sectors of forest just to eliminate one sniper. On March 6, 1940, the plan executed. Soviet bombers hit Häyhä's known operating area. 50 tons of explosives, then artillery barrage, then more bombers. They were burning down the forest. Häyhä wasn't there. He'd moved 2 kilometers south the previous night. Standard procedure. Never stay in one area too long. But the Soviets had covered multiple sectors. Artillery fell across 10 square kilometers. Odds said they'd hit something. At 1:30 p.m. on March 6th, Häyhä was in a forward observation position, watching Soviet movements. A Soviet soldier spotted something, possibly movement, possibly a reflection. He fired. Others joined, concentrated fire on one position. An explosive bullet hit the left side of Häyhä's face, exploded on impact, tore away part of his jaw, destroyed his left cheek. He collapsed, unconscious, bleeding, dying. Finnish soldiers found him 20 minutes later. Still breathing. Barely. They carried him to a field hospital, 8 kilometers through snow, under Soviet artillery fire. The doctors didn't think he'd survive. The wound was catastrophic. Half his face was gone. How he was still alive was inexplicable. They performed emergency surgery, removed shattered bone, stopped the bleeding, gave him morphine. That was all they could do. Simo Häyhä woke up on March 13, 1940, 1 week in a coma. The war had ended the day before, March 12th. Finland had signed the Moscow Peace Treaty. The Winter War was over. Finland had survived, lost 11% of its territory, but remained independent. The Red Army had taken 323,000 casualties, killed, wounded, captured. Finland had taken 70,000 casualties. A Pyrrhic victory for Stalin, a defensive miracle for Finland. Häyhä's final confirmed count, 505 kills. 100 days of combat, iron sights only. The highest number of confirmed sniper kills in any war in history. A record that still stands 85 years later. But he'd paid the price. The wound had destroyed his face, required 11 surgeries over 2 years. He'd never looked the same. Speech was difficult. Eating was painful. He was promoted to second lieutenant on the battlefield. Unusual for enlisted. Skipped several ranks. The Finnish government awarded him medals, the Cross of Liberty, multiple commendations. But he avoided publicity, refused interviews, returned to farming. Soviet veterans later admitted they'd been terrified of white and what I was ordered to do as well as I could. Häyhä lived until April 1st, 2002, 96 years old. Died peacefully. The man who'd killed 505 enemy soldiers lived longer than almost all of them. The Mosin-Nagant M28 he used is displayed at the Finnish Military Museum. No scope, just iron sights, the rifle that killed more enemy soldiers than any sniper rifle in history. Modern military snipers study Häyhä's tactics, fieldcraft, patience, discipline, how he operated alone without support, how he survived counter-sniper operations, how he maintained effectiveness under artillery bombardment. His key principles are still taught. Use iron sights in extreme cold. Control your breath vapor. Never establish a pattern. Know your terrain better than the enemy. Patience is more important than speed. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Archives opened. Russian historians confirmed Finnish accounts. Häyhä's kill count was accurate, not exaggerated. 505 confirmed. Possibly more unconfirmed. One Soviet veteran was interviewed in 1998. He'd fought at Kola in January 1940. Asked about Finnish snipers, he said, "We thought they were ghosts. You never saw them. Your comrade would fall." Then another. Then another. No sound. No warning. Just death from the forest. That was Simo Häyhä, a dairy farmer who became the deadliest sniper in military history. Used a rifle with no scope. Worked alone. Survived impossible odds. Then went home and farmed for another 60 years. The Winter War proved something fundamental about warfare. Technology doesn't always win. Numbers don't always win. Sometimes one man with iron sights and absolute discipline can change the course of battles. If this story amazed you, hit that like button right now. Every like tells YouTube to show this to more people who need to hear about Simo Häyhä. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We bring you forgotten war heroes every single week. Real soldiers. Real courage. Real history that deserves to be remembered. Drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from. Finland, United States, Russia, anywhere in the world. Tell us, do you think any modern sniper could match Häyhä's record? Could anyone get 505 confirmed kills with iron sights in 100 days? If you're a veteran, thank you. If your family served in World War II or any war, tell us their story. Our community spans the globe. You're keeping these memories alive. Simo Häyhä never wanted fame, but his story deserves to be told.